Well, it's that special time of year when I realize how single I am. Don't worry, I'm handling it just fine. Whatever. Let's just watch the only Valentine's Day horror movies anyone ever talks about and see if the original or the remake is better. The movie starts off nice and creepy as we follow two miners in full gear go through these ominous looking tunnels, and out of nowhere, one of them takes off their jumpsuit and boom! We got a hottie with a body.
You have my attention.
Our half-naked woman is being just a really nice person to the guy. But she has a tattoo of a heart on her chest, which triggers our hero. I'm triggered! And he shoves her back into a pickaxe, and it pierces through and hits the heart dead on. Nice shot. Normally I would be rooting for our main man here, but she seemed really nice. Maybe I'm just not on the same wavelength as these guys.
Thanks.
Wouldn't it have been more fun to kill her than fuck her?
I guess that makes sense, but couldn't you do both? Like, have relations before breaking her heart? Anyways, we're introduced to our giant cast of obstacles for our hero to deal with. And we get a whiff that there is a love triangle here.
Whippy!
It's between Tom, who is the son of the mayor who owns the mine they are working on, who was dating a woman named Sarah, but left without warning and dumped her to make it on his own. But now he is back, and Sarah is dating Axel, who is one of the higher-ranking miners. If it wasn't for this bullshit love triangle, this actually seems like a job and crew that anyone would want to be a part of. They're all close, got history, bust each other's balls, excited to go out for a good time on the town even after working all day together. They all go into town, and the mayor is complimenting someone on decorating the whole town for Valentine's Day. It's movies like this and Trick or Treat that make me wish towns like this existed. Towns that had coordinated parades and unified decorations every block for a holiday other than Christmas. But maybe I've just had bad luck and only lived in places that wouldn't give two shits about something like that. The mayor is given a Valentine right before he hits the road with the sheriff. He opens it and sees a human heart inside. For some reason, he freaks out and hates it. It's pretty rude. He didn't even eat the damn thing. Lucky for us, we cut back to the bar to catch the miners playing the finger knife game.
How do you do that, man?
And Barkeep Exposition comes in and starts to tell the story of our main hero. So apparently this town has a tradition on Valentine's Day where they all have a big dance. It's been a yearly tradition for the past 100 years. But 20 years ago, 7 miners were working that evening. 2 supervisors were up top while the other 5 were down below. The supervisors left early for the dance and there was an explosion down below and the 5 were buried alive. They spent 6 weeks trying to dig the men out. When they get to them, only Harry Warden was alive and he ate the other miners to survive.
Improvise, adapt, overcome.
Good old Harry spent the next year in a mental hospital. Lord knows why. I would have done the same thing if I was in his shoes. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? So on Valentine's Day, after a year in the mental hospital, Harry comes back into the town and kills the 2 supervisors that left him down in the mine. Okay, so Harry Warden gets a ghost story legend after only killing 2 people?
Why do you disappoint me? Second by second, you waste my time.
Remember, he was stuck in the mine for 6 weeks. The only way anyone would have survived is if they turned into cannibals. That adds to why he's crazy, but not really a killer of legend. But honestly, after hearing all this, the townspeople really has got what's coming to them. Back at the hospital, the mayor is getting the heart tested. Guy just comes out and says, "It's a human heart. Woman's 30 years old." How the hell could he know all of that? I mean, I'm no doctor, but I'm not convinced that we had that good of tech back in the 80s. Also, the sheriff is having a hard time figuring out if Harry Warden is still in the mental hospital or not. Oh, and good thing this doctor only has like 3 lines. His acting has not aged well. Our hero is stalking the old woman who has been in charge for the decorating of the town at the laundromat. This kill is top notch. You don't see it happen, but the build-up is absolutely solid. Not bad for a 40-year-old movie. I'll describe the kill when it actually comes up. I'm just building it up. But while this is happening, at the local junkyard, the miners are heating up some TV dinners on the engine of their car. Kind of odd, but I guess there was no fast food open 24 hours in this town. Things between the guys and the love triangle heat up, and who cares? It's the next morning. By the way, the whole story only takes place in like 3 days. Not that it matters, but the movie thought it was important to state the dates, so I'm telling all you guys. The sheriff still can't get a verification if Harry Warden is still in the mental hospital or not, but they're pretty sure it's him. Or is it? Sarah, the girl in the love triangle, is talking to her friend about the 2 guys. And of course, she doesn't want both of them, but apparently she's blaming them for not communicating with her. So I guess it's their fault she can't make up her mind.
You bitch. You did it. Stupid bitch doesn't even know.
The sheriff goes into the laundromat looking for the old bat, who is the head town decorator, and something's not right. The hearts are upside down, the place smells bad, and it takes him forever to find her. You see him walk past a bloody dryer like 3 times. He even checks the one beside it first. Do you seriously not see the bloody door and window on the dryer right next to you? I mean, even the dryer got impatient because the thing just opens up because the guy's taking forever. And... didn't know that dryers had a crispy setting. This is a great reveal. Perfect payoff for not seeing the death earlier. He even left a card in the body. Thoughtful. He says that it'll keep happening until they cancel the dance. So it gets canceled, but don't worry, my friends. The movie is far from over. We still got some time for our hero to work his magic. Tom picks up Sarah from her work, and she is barely giving any effort in saying that she doesn't want to go. By the way, I checked IMDb. Even though it doesn't really state that Axel and Sarah are married in the movie, they have the same last name. She's a married woman, and she's still running off with a former lover, even though her husband knows that he has a huge problem with Tom being back. Oh, and people keep calling Tom Hanniger TJ, and Sarah once calls him Jesse. They really should have just stuck with one name for this guy. Tom and Sarah are having a moment at the beach, and it's like straight out of a soap opera quality of bad, and they kiss. This love triangle is infuriating. Sarah is an indecisive bitch, Tom is a total douche, and Axel is just getting screwed over. At the bar, the miners decide to have a party at the mine because the dance was canceled. Barkeep Exposition is furious about the idea, so he goes to the mine to set up a scary prank before the miners get there. But don't worry, our hero has no interest in pranks. So, Barkeep Exposition gets what's coming to him, and damn, it's a good kill. Uppercut with the pickaxe through the chin and out the eye socket. We are 3 for 3 on these kills. Keep them coming. So the night passes, and so does the day, and now it's Valentine's night. And the miners are setting up for the party. Oh, but don't worry, the party barely started, and our hero makes quick work of a miner by sticking his face in a pot of boiling hot dog water.
Who is that?
Honestly, his cooked face probably would taste better than those dogs. We get more drama in the love triangle, and Axel fucks off for more alone time. A lone couple is fooling around unbeknownst to them that our hero is waiting for his next moment. The guy leaves to get a beer, and our hero makes short work of his girlfriend while he is gone. I actually didn't notice this on my first watch, but they actually foreshadow this death earlier in the movie. When the miners leave work to visit their ladies at the dance hall, a tall guy lifts up his girl by her head and kisses her. You know, it's the little things in life that keep you going. Not for her, though. Being little gave her a pretty cool death scene. A group of 6 decide to have a personal tour of the mine while everyone else is partying up top. Our hero couldn't have dreamed of a better situation. While the 6 go deeper into the mine, 2 of them break away for a little alone time. I guess I spoke too soon about this not being an even better situation for our hero. Meanwhile, back up top, the hot dog guy's body gets found while the shower girl's body gets found too. Psh, party poopers. So unfortunately, everyone clears out for their own safety while Axel and Tom head down to rescue the 6. Tom catches up with the 4 and updates them on what's going down. Tom and Mustache Man go to find the couple that separated from earlier to go bone. Mustache Man finds them impaled together with some sort of large drill. Kind of lame that we didn't get to see it, but fret not. Our hero is still at the scene and it gets Mustache Man with a single-shot nail gun twice to the head. You'd think that would instantly drop him, but he is like the big tough guy of the movie, so he staggers out for just long enough so everyone can see him die. Oh, and the nail gun? It sounds like a silenced gun in an old video game. I know it's supposed to be an intense scene, but it kind of took me out of the horror mood for a bit. The 3 that were left behind, Sarah, Mustache Man's girl, and a funny guy freak out when they see our Mustache Man dead and Harry Warden coming after them. The funny guy is trying to get them to leave, but the women are having a hard time, so he bolts. Kind of a shitty thing to do, but I mean, he's scared, and unless he was going to lift the women and carry them away, they weren't moving fast enough to get away from the killer. Sarah literally slaps some sense into the girl, and Axel comes to the rescue, but our hero went after the funny guy a minute ago, so they're good for at least a while. The group meets up with Tom, and they make for the exit. Up top, the sheriff is trying to ride down to help, but the elevator isn't working. Our group down below finds that out too, and they try to climb up the ladder nearby. On their way up, they are surprised by the funny man's dead body, which falls from a noose, and the neck rips. So they puss out and climb down, but it's good news for our hero. Now he can still get him. The new plan is to go to the rail cars. They cross a bridge over a lake and a mine. While the others are ahead, Axel, who stayed behind, falls in and sinks to the bottom. Sorry, hero. One of them slipped through your fingers. Tom tells the girls to go ahead without him for some reason. Our hero surprises the girls and nails the Mustache Man's girl in the stomach with the pickaxe. Sarah somehow teleports away because it doesn't even seem like our hero is chasing her. Tom's come back and kinda out of nowhere.
Seems kinda sus to me.
They make it to the rail cars, and as they're about to leave, our hero arrives. Okay, so it's not Tom. My bad. So the cars go, and they're having an Indiana Jones type fight on the cars and then off the cars, and... okay, this fight sucks. The choreography is shit, and there's nothing redeemable about it, unfortunately. Sarah does help out, and even though I'm rooting for our hero, it's good that she's a little helpful in a crisis. A moment arrives, and Sarah rips off the mask and reveals our hero was Axel all along!
No way!
We get a flashback, and Axel was the son of one of the supervisors that Harry Warden killed. He was actually present when Harry Warden killed his dad and cut out his heart. Doesn't really make sense or explain why he snapped now. I guess Tom coming back into town sent him over the edge, but there hasn't been a Valentine killer for 20 years, and now all of a sudden he loses it and kills several of his closest friends, who he's known for probably his whole life. Whatever. So during the fight, the mine caves in, and Axel is trapped on the other side of it, stuck. The townspeople arrive and start to dig him out. The sheriff then reveals that Harry Warden died 5 years ago. Not like it really mattered that much. I mean, Axel never did anything sus to make anyone think it was him. We, as an audience, thought it was Harry Warden, maybe the barkeep, but he was killed halfway into the movie. I mean, you could say it was a tie between Tom and Axel, because there were moments when they were gone and the killer was like present, so you could say like they snuck off to do the killing, but they never did anything specific to make you think it was one or the other. If you want to make a whodunit story, you shouldn't reveal that it isn't who everyone thinks it is after it's revealed who it is, and it's the end of the movie. Anyways, back to the movie's ending. So they see Axel's hand and it moves. Everyone cries out that he's alive, and Sarah wants to go back and see him. She reaches for his hand and he grabs her violently, but then it shows on the other side that he's already sawed through most of his arm. I don't know how he was able to grab her after slicing through most of his tendons, but good for him for pulling 127 hours. Our hero runs off and says the only kind of dialogue that makes him seem psycho, and that's how the movie ends. So what do we make of this story on its own? It's not bad. The kills are top-notch for a horror film, the practical effects are very well done, and the characters and the acting overall are still pretty good. Where the movie falls short is the whodunit aspect. We as an audience have no reason to believe the killer isn't Harry Warden. Every kill is done with the miner's mask on, but some of the kills make you think the killer is teleporting, and when you know it's Axel, it begs the question of how he was able to pull all of this off without any blood on his clothes to make people suspicious of him. The reveal on what made Axel crazy comes out of nowhere, so it feels very lackluster. If the director of this movie wanted the audience to not be sure who the killer is, they should have revealed that Harry Warden died much earlier on in the movie. Now let's compare it to the remake. When I watched it for this review, it made me happy because it reminded me that movie directors gave up on 3D films. Those were such a waste of time. You can still tell which moments were supposed to be in 3D, but it's not that distracting. For starters, Harry Warden didn't eat the miners he was trapped with. He killed them so he wouldn't run out of oxygen while the rescue team was digging him out. Also, Tom was there during the collapse, which gives him a whole background on him being a damaged character. When Harry Warden wakes up, it's Valentine's Day, and he kills everyone in the hospital and goes to the mine and attacks a party where Tom, Axel, and Sarah are attending, and they all narrowly escape with their lives. But Harry racks up an impressive kill count of 22 on Valentine's Day, instead of just a measly 2 in the original.
That's more like it.
I wonder if the people writing the remake were asking themselves, what can we do to make our killer more terrifying? And the guy is just like, 2. How about instead of killing 2 people, he kills 22 people? And everyone is like,
That is brilliant.
So with these intros, there are gives and takes. In the OG, Harry is more crazy and focused on a specific day and event for a specific reason, but he is less deadly, and we don't get to know our trio of main characters till 20 years later. In the remake, Harry kills more people and interacts with our trio more directly, but it's just a coincidence it all happens on Valentine's Day. And only 10 years pass from the first killings to the more recent ones. In the OG, Tom and Sarah date, but he leaves all of a sudden to go and make it on his own in another state. And Sarah marries Axel while he is gone, and then comes back and they work in the mine together. In the remake, Tom still leaves, but it's because of the trauma he suffered at the mines, and it was just too much for him. Sarah still marries Axel, but he's the new sheriff in town, and Tom comes back to sell the mine, so everyone hates him. Axel is a piece of shit husband, so instead of hating Sarah and the love triangle in the original, we now hate Axel. The original has Harry Warden's death revealed at the very end when we already know who the killer is. In the remake, Harry was killed by vigilante justice and buried in an unmarked grave. They go to dig it up to prove to everyone that he is dead, but the grave was dug up and there is no body. So it's possible he is the killer, but also not. And we still had an hour left of the movie to figure it all out. Also, the remake leaves great clues to make everyone feel sus. Axel, Tom, the old sheriff for a bit, and hell, even the deputy seems a little sus. When it comes to the kills with a pickaxe, there are certain boxes to check. Pickaxe in the top of the head. Check. The OG doesn't have this one, but that's okay. The axe goes through the tattooed heart, and that's a nice replacement. Pickaxe through the eye, front or back.
Here's something. Hey, Michael, check this out. Shit.
Check. Pickaxe through the chin and up. Check. The OG did a 2-for-1 with that one. Check, check. They even revisit the dryer kill in the remake because it was so epic in the original. The fight at the end is actually done well in the remake. The OG sucked hard in that regard. One of the biggest differences is in the OG, Axel is the killer, but in the remake, Tom is the killer. And, more importantly, it's a believable reveal. Axel in the OG comes out of nowhere, and it's kind of flat. I know that this is only my third nostalgia review, but so far, this is the best remake. They both have almost the same backstory on our famous killer, Harry Warden. The remake pays homage by only doing one of the same kills from the original, and they improved on the end reveal on who the killer is. Although in the OG, Axel gets away by cutting off his arm, which is survivable, but in the conditions he's in, I don't buy that he would live much longer after doing that. In the remake, Tom gets shot through the side, and the bullet hits some canisters and causes a massive explosion and a collapse in the mine. And he just kills one of the rescuers and takes his clothes and leaves. No. He was right in front of that explosion. Even if it didn't kill him, the burns and the rocks near burying him alive would have made him immobile, to say the least. I gotta hand it to Jensen Ackles. I know he is everyone's dream boy in Supernatural, but I was never impressed by his acting in the show. But in this movie, he nails it. I hope he lands a great role now that Supernatural ended after being on air for like a fucking century. So to sum it up, the original My Bloody Valentine came out 40 years ago, and for the most part, it has aged pretty well. And if you are going to watch the original My Bloody Valentine, you have to watch the unrated version. The unrated version is the only one where you can actually see the awesome kills. If you just do the regular one, then you're not going to see any of the good stuff that actually gives the movie merit. But I think the remake did a better job at telling a story. Thanks for your attention, hit that like and subscribe, and stay spooky.